All right, let's check out what my good friend Riley sent into the channel for us all to gander at. This is the Seiko Alpinist. You know, so many times we all think of the SARB017, the green Alpinist. I think that's probably the most recognizable or the most, purchased, most common anyway. So this guy is actually a quartz perpetual calendar in titanium metal. This is the part number sbcj019. And this thing is packed full of features. If you don't like lightweight watches or titanium, then, watch the video if you want or whatever, but definitely this watch isn't going to be for you because it is super light. It's currently sized for Riley's wrist, which I think is around 6 3/4-ish. And with that amount of links in there, this thing only weighs 70 grams. I mean, it feels like very lightweight. I don't know how else to explain it. Probably, yeah, I'd have to guess that it's even lighter than a G-Shock on combi. G-Shock without combi, I guess it's probably close to that. I think that G-Shock weighs around 70. So the titanium with the quartz movement is lightweight. It is no joke. Let's zoom in a bit here because you can see the dial looks great with those applied indices, the way they chamfered them. They catch the light really good. That handset also very much matches the indices in the framed date window. Of course, you have the inner rotating bezel, excuse me. And it's a very, very smooth light operation. It feels more accurate than my SARB 017 did. So I don't know I'm assuming it's done in the same fashion. You can see the GMT hand is hiding underneath the minute hand there. I'm not going to play around with that too much. I don't know if Riley's doing a accuracy testing or anything on this. So, but you can see the seconds hand actually hits the marks. Depending on how the angle you look, and I know it's a hard thing to do with quartz watches, but it does hit the marks. And on this particular model, you do have a screw down crown. Let me zoom back out. You do have a screw down crown. So on this guy here, so you have about, I think it's 100 meter water resist. And then when you pop it out to the first position, what you can do with this guy is you can jump the hour hand. So you can leave that GMT hand, if you will, to your local time, and then when you travel, you just jump that hour hand. And I think that's a preferred method, I think, for a lot of people on how to travel adjust your time. So let's talk about the measurements real quick, because we do have see how the case kind of bumps out on either side? So if you measure from there to there, you have 38.8 millimeter. But if you can, which I had a difficult time doing, but if you can measure from the shorter distance crosswise, like most people measure their watches, not including these bump outs, I only get it about 37 millimeters. So it is a very nicely sized watch. Of course, you can see the drilled lug holes there as well. Let's see, lug to lug distance, I measure at 44 millimeter. So if you have a smaller wrist, this guy's going to be perfect. I think Riley was very keen on finding this exact model because of his 6 3/4 inch wrist, I think is what he has. This wears perfect on him. So it's only 11. I measure thickness. I found online where they say it's 11.5. I only measured 11.11. So for thickness, the lug width is kind of strange. It's 19 millimeter. So I'm sure most straps, like if you were going to put a different NATO or Erica's Original or something like that, I'm sure you could squeeze a 20 millimeter in there. I don't think that'd be a problem. This bracelet feels really good, and it definitely pairs nicely with the watch. And a very nice clasp as well. And you have the 4 micro adjust there, so I think you're going to be able to get the sizing right. There's no dive extension or anything like that, but simple click and flip, and you're in business, and everything fits really nice and tight and follows the contour of the bracelet. So that is very well done, Seiko. This houses the 8F56 movement, which is a high torque movement. And of course it has that perpetual and the GMT function and all that good stuff. So very, very well done quartz movement for sure. And it was used in quite a few different color variations on this watch. This black one is probably the most common, but even in saying it's the most common is actually a little misleading because these don't pop up for sale very often. So if this is a particular watch that you're looking for, you almost have to just be patient, wait for one that shows up in a decent quality, that isn't abused too much, and it is in the price range that you're looking for. Which these sell, I mean, I want to say they're north of $800. In some cases, they crest over the $1,000 mark, depending on how rare the color is. Like I know there's some limited production ones, like teal or something. They only made like 500 of them. That thing's gonna fetch some big bucks if you ever even see one. So the battery life on this is suspected to be around 5 years. I'm not sure when this one was changed, but pretty simple to do. You have a screw down case back here. You just pop that guy out and swap the battery out. Make sure the gasket's good and all that stuff. Or you could have someone do it for you if it's not something you're familiar with on how to do. You can also see there over by the Made in Japan, you have the anti-magnetic symbol there. I think I found the statistic on that. I believe it is 45 or 4,800 amperes or something like that. It ends up being like 60 gauss. I'm not sure how all that's measured, but fairly anti-magnetic as well. And with the titanium, you're going to end up on most titanium watches that I've seen, you're going to have the hollow end links. That's pretty standard. But it's not. It has a little bit of rattle to it, but it's no SKX rattle or anything like that. So I can attempt. I can kind of compare it to a couple other watches as far as size, if you guys want to see. Here's the 38.5 millimeter Manta Triumph. Here's that SARB that I just reviewed. You can see that it's size-wise, it's not too far off. You have a lot more going on the dial, obviously. Here's my Hamilton Khaki King. So I think if you have a little bit smaller wrist, and I don't even think I can get that on. I'm not sure if I can get that on. I'll try. I have a 7 1/4 wrist, so yeah, I can get it on. I just can't clasp it or anything. So you can see, even with my 7 1/4, this thing still wears really good. And with titanium, you got to remember too, the titanium metals does not transfer heat and cold like stainless steel does. So typically, I don't have a titanium watch now because I sold it, but when I was skiing and stuff like that, I would wear a titanium watch because it never really felt cold on wrist. And then transversely, if it's in the heat and everything like that, it's not going to heat up and hold that heat and feel like you have something more metal on your wrist. Titanium is just not so really subjected to that. So I'm going to do another little close-up here of this guy. Tell you what, we'll close out with a Lume shot for you. Because of course we're going to have the standard Seiko Lume that never disappoints. So there you can see some nice Seiko Lume. Here's the SARB for comparison. You can tell you have way more Lume applied on both the seconds hand and then the hour and minute hand, and you even have some on the triangle tip of the GMT hand. So, and then all the way around on the indices, minus the absence of an indice at the date window at the 4 o'clock there. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Ryley, for lending this watch in and sharing it with us. It's a very cool model, and if you're an Alpinist nut, like I know a lot of you guys are, this is definitely one to get, even in low light conditions. Thanks.